Hi guys, this is Cinda. I'm on a little bit early, but I just want to give everyone enough time to log in on time. So we're just going to enjoy some nice peaceful music while we wait for the 7 o'clock hour to get here. If you're just logging on, I'm just waiting for the give everyone a chance to begin to log in. So we're just going to give it a couple of minutes before we get started. And thank you for joining me today. Hope everybody's having a wonderful evening. Hey, Tyrone. Hey, Miss Pamela. We're going to get started in a few minutes. Hey, Charlie. Hey, girl. I'm going to give it a couple of more minutes and I'm going to get started and get cooking. Thank you, Charlie. Okay, we're going to give it one more minute just to give some of our other sisters an opportunity to log on, and then I'm going to kick right on into it. Because like I said before, the great thing about going live, you could always go back to the video and make comments or just view what we talked about. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. First, I want to say welcome to the official launch of Sisterhood Makeover with Cinda Brown. Yes, hallelujah. We have made it. I have made it. I am so excited that you ladies have decided to join me on tonight. We're going to dive into what the sisterhood is really about, why I have a burden for it, a little history about the sisterhood, how it got started, and then we're going to go over some questions and some answers. So even anytime while I'm talking, if you have any questions, you could go ahead and put that in the comment box, and we'll try to make sure that we answer your questions. Now, the first thing I want to say is that the premiere of Sisterhood Makeover will be June the 19th at 7 p.m. and will follow each Monday at 7 p.m. So you could go over to YouTube, find us on YouTube, and just follow us and look at our show anytime. You can rewind, you can look at episodes over and over again, whatever you need to do. Now, once you watch those episodes, sisters, I really want you to send me some good dialogue concerning the episodes. Did you like it? Do you want me to go deeper concerning some topics, some conversations? All I ask is that you try to keep it positive, but give me some awesome positive critiques and reinforcement on what I'm trying to do for the sisterhood. Now I just want to talk to you a little bit about the history of the sisterhood. The sisterhood started right in my mother's front living room, literally. God had placed it on my heart to start a group called Lifetime Sisterhood. And I began that right at my mother's house. Me and a group of ladies, we got together, we came up with the curriculum called Identity Crisis, and we pulled in, I want to say, about 10 or 12 other women, and we just went through the curriculum of having them to face their fears, face their past pains, face their hurts, and different things like that, until we got all the way to the end of the curriculum that it talked about finding your true and your new identity. Now, it only was about 5 or 6 sisters that stuck with us, but I still think it was very, very beneficial because we tried to create a safe place for women to share their deep, intimate hurts, their deep, intimate secrets, and all that great stuff in an environment that they wouldn't be judged, or an environment that sisters would love them, an environment that other sisters were going through the same thing and understood exactly where they were. So this is how the sisterhood got started off. Now I want to go even a little bit deeper. How did I even get to that point? Now I'm going to put this disclaimer out there. What I'm getting ready to talk about now, I'm not trying to tear down any churches. I'm just trying to tell my truth and tell my story. Sisterhood began for me is when I was sitting in church. I had gone through so many things, so many trials, so many hurts as a young woman, and I felt like I had no one to turn to inside of the church because I've tried that before. I tried to turn to leaders and different things like that, got judged, or one leader put all my business out in the street through the pulpit. So I really just grew to a place that I really did not know who I could turn to or who I could talk to about the real things that were going on with me. Now, I got caught up in ministry, becoming a ministry leader and all those great things, but I felt like I was always wearing a mask because I was just trying to be whatever people was telling me that God designed me to be, which was a leader at that time, or I was just trying to keep up a face because I was the strength for so many people. But I was really going through hurting inside. I had low self-esteem. I did not know who I was. But then I began to discover, as I was paying attention to other women and ministering to them, they had the same issues. And I felt like they were getting caught up into the same hang-ups that I was getting caught up into in the church. You were just taking on work in the church, or you were taking on certain titles or positions, but you, excuse me for that interruption, but you still did not know who you truly were as a person, as an individual. You had got so caught up in becoming what everybody wanted you to be. And so that's how my story really began. I was like, but I was just so hurt. I was going through things. I faced things outside of church, just things you just face with on a regular, just with low self-esteem, dating the wrong type of guy, dating and breaking up. When I was in high school, I dated a guy that wasn't very good to me. I mean, that was the first downfall of my self-esteem. And sometimes if you don't have anyone to really build you up or reinforce it, you never get that self-esteem back. And although I was in church hearing the word and all that great stuff, but still they were not dealing with the real Cinda. And it's good to deal with spiritual parts, but I had to learn in that moment that you also have to deal with the natural parts of the person and making sure that they're whole and healthy before you even put them in any type of leadership role. Because all I was a wounded vessel, and then because I was already facing rejection issues and all those different things, now I'm in a leadership role where rejection is going to hit me even harder. And leaders are telling you, oh, that's good for you if they reject you. Oh, it's good for you if they do that. It's making you strong and all this stuff. And you're like, okay, it's making me strong. I'm putting on a strong face, but at home, in my secret closet, I'm hurting, I'm bleeding. And so that's how the sisterhood started for me. I seen myself in so many different women, and I just wanted to be an answer for them. So we began the identity crisis courses. I met some great sisters through that. We had some, and you're always going to have that. We had some sisters that didn't make it all the way through. They still had, issues. They didn't want to open up. They didn't want to trust. So I want to let you know now that even with the Sisterhood Makeover, this has to be something that you desire. And I believe God really gave it for me to launch it online. That way you can take it in how you desire to take it in. You can take it in slow, you can take it in quickly, but it's all up to you. I had to learn that in my life. When you really want change, when you really want to go somewhere, you will begin to make choices and decisions to be able to put yourself on the path to go that direction. So the sisterhood, we are here for you at any time. Now, I want to go into, I shared the burden, I shared the history, because it kind of correlated together, the burden and the history. But I really wanted to ask the sisters that did log on with me tonight. I have two questions for you. The first question is, what is sisterhood? So I just want you to put in the comments for me what you feel or what you think sisterhood is, and then I'm going to tell you the definition that I have for sisterhood, because sometimes I think we could define that sisterhood so wrong. We go to church and we call everybody sister, and you get kind of in the habit of just calling people sister, but do you really know what sisterhood means? So I'm going to give you a couple of minutes right now just to give me a little dialogue in the comment box, and I'm going to put on my glasses. I'm going to stop looking a little cute for right now, for I could be able to see what you guys are saying. So I'm going to give you a couple of minutes. What do you think sisterhood is to you? Your own definition of sisterhood. I'll give you a couple of minutes. Okay, while I'm waiting for people to type in or zone in what they think sisterhood is, I broke sisterhood down into two different definitions. First, I broke down sister. Sister means to me a woman who is intimately connected to me. Because I thought about even my biological sister when I was thinking about this. So if I'm going to call other people sister and I'm looking at the family structure, what does that really mean? So I have sister means to be a woman who is intimately connected to me or to other women. she shares my DNA. So we don't have to have the same mother or father, but you still share my DNA, my attributes, my characteristics. So basically, my sister is me. You are an image of who I am. No matter our diversity, our differences, you're still an image of who I am. And then she is a person I can easily disconnect myself from. I cannot easily disconnect myself from someone I call a sister. So for us, that one day we're calling someone sister, then the next day we can't stand them, that's not a sister to you. You know, you really haven't grasped the understanding what a sister is yet. Now I'm going to give you what I got for hood. Now what I got from hood, I took a little bit to the streets. What I got from hood is, it means close-knit neighborhood or community, willing to ride or die for one another. So we put that all together. Sisterhood, you are someone I can easily disconnect from. I got your message, Charlie. I am intimately connected to you. Now you're a part of my community. You're a part of my neighborhood, and I'm willing to ride or die for you. So I want us to have that understanding of what sisterhood means. Now, the other question I have, because I see some other women are clicking in, I want you to write answer from me, sisters. What do you think the answer is to this question? How can we make it over? How can we make the sisterhood over? And I'm talking about in terms of the word makeover, meaning a complete transformation or remodeling of the sisterhood. How can we make it over? Now, this is your own individual concept or perspective of how you think the sisterhood could be made over, because we know there's issues out there. Now, I know I went to Spelman College, and we had to take a lot of women courses that we talked about all the issues amongst the women that probably stem back from slavery. But hey, slavery's been long and gone for a long time. So what is the problem now? And I just share experience with me while you guys are trying to type in your answer. What do you think needs to happen to help the sister make over is, okay, one incident that recently happened to me is that I was connected to a sister, and we went to a church service, and she, was at the same church service. She was connected to my family, connected to, my children. My children knew her. But I get from another dialogue that we had that was completely outside of church, that she was never willing to call and have a real dialogue about, but she carried that thing to church. And when she seen me in church and my children and my husband, she tried to walk right by me and roll her eyes and not say a word to me. So not only was she trying to be hurtful to me, but she was trying to be hurtful to my children that knew her. So that's a problem. So what are some things, sisters, do you think we could do to make over or transformation or remodel the sisterhood? Now, I don't see anybody answering that, so I will answer some of the things that I think, and it doesn't mean that it's the right answer. But one of the things that I know is the key thing is sisters, we have to understand ourselves. So that will be one of the hot topics that we will deal with, and once we go further on in the Sisterhood Makeover, is that we have to understand our family structure, where we come from, how our bloodline influence our relationships, and how our family structure, how our family culture, how we were raised, our morals, our values, and different things like that influence our relationships with other sisters. So that's one of the key things. We have to begin to identify ourselves and know who we are from the beginning, which is our bloodline, our family history, our family culture, different things like that, because it affects us. Secondly, one of the key things also is, I see someone tune in. I see Latoya Griffin, and I'm going to continue after I read her. She said, we must be transparent, real, communicate, forgive, reach out to others. I love that, Latoya, because that was going to be my next thing. I was going to say we have to have communication. I used to be a woman that I did not like confrontation with other women, so I would hold things in, or I just wouldn't deal with you anymore. I used to be that woman, I cut you off real quick just so I won't have to deal with the issue or deal with you anymore. But communication have to happen, but we can't wear our feelings on our shoulder when that communication comes. And also, I love the fact that Latoya said be transparent, because I'm a very transparent person. I tell you anything, all my business, if I have to, if it's going to help you. If it's going to help you, I'm willing to share. I'm willing to be open. We have to pull down those guards. Latoya also said, let's talk about forgiveness. Oh my God, that is so key. I walked around for years, can't stand women, did not want to be around them. And I felt like God for years was dealing with me to do a sisterhood. And I'm like, you got to be out of your mind. You think, I want to do a sisterhood. I don't even like women. I'd rather hang and chill with the men that's keeping it real. So we have to be willing to forgive. And sisters, we're usually able to forgive men easily. You know, we would go into another relationship with a man, no matter how that other man has hurt us, have beat us down. We will muster up enough forgiveness that we will try to go on to another relationship and try to make it work. But we have to be that way to our sisters. And another key thing that Latoya said, we have to reach out to one another. Just like the other day, I was having a bad day on Monday and I ran into a dear sister and I never said a word. But I guess she could tell by my demeanor and my face and my attitude that my day was not going well. She didn't say anything while we were face to face, but then when she left, she called me, she reached out to me, she said, Cinda, was something going on with you? Because I felt it. And that meant so much to me. And then I was honest, I was transparent with her, and I said, yes, I was having a bad day. I went through hell on Sunday, and I was agitated. I was just upset, and it was showing all over me. So we have to reach out to one another. I want to see what else Latoya have to say, because you throwing out some great things, Latoya. You said too many women are broken and hurting. Other women may be able to help them get free. Real sisters are real people first. Love it, Latoya, because you know what? I don't care, if we relate to men and we get married and all that, but women, come on, we have to be real. We are the ones that know what other women truly, truly, truly are going through. We are the most sensitive creatures. God created us that way. So when you see something going on with your sister, or even if you hug her, if you pass by her, probably you don't even know her, because sometimes we can judge people or give assumptions about things, she rolled her eyes. Sometimes we just need to go up to them and have some dialogue if they're open to that, and have some dialogue and try to be open and willing to help them with their hurt or whatever they're going through. And I love the fact that you said real sisters are real people first. That goes back to your identity. You and that family culture and that bloodline. You have to understand who you are as a person in order for you to be able to help someone else. Now that's your good, that's your bad, and that's your ugly. You're going to have to understand those things about yourself. And that way you can become an authentic person for yourself. And then you can become an authentic person for another sister. So those are all the questions that I had. I just came prepared with those two questions just to get the dialogue started. But Latoya, I see that you're really engaging in this conversation. Do you have any questions for me concerning Sisterhood Makeover, or just any questions about sisterhood that you want to put out there on the table to these other women that are starting to tune in? And I'll give you a few minutes for that. Now, while waiting on Latoya to share her insight, if she has any more insight, I want to remind you once again, the premiere of Sisterhood Makeover will be on June the 19th. That's when we're going to do our grand premiere. Now, on the grand premiere, the first episode, you may see my beautiful face again all by myself. And then after that, I will begin calling in other sisters, and we will have some dialogue. And we're going to talk about some real sisterhood issues. Now, I'm also going to bring you some fun topics, like we're going to talk about makeup, and fashion and all that great stuff. But we're going to also make sure that we talk about the real issues and try to deal with the real issues and have real dialogue. I see Latoya chime back in. Latoya says, how can women let their guard down after being hurt? That is a very, 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 very awesome question. And I'll just share with you, Latoya, what I did. I really had to get into a place that I kind of separated myself, because what I was trying to do is sometimes was pretending like, okay, I'm not hurt anymore, I'm good, and then I find myself rushing to other things because I'm a person, if anybody knows me, I pull everybody in intimately. I'm not one of those type of people that anyone is a stranger. When I call you sister, I'm for real about it. And I don't care if you're a stranger on the street, you came to my business or whatever, I pull you in very intimately. So what I had to learn to do for myself, and it may be something else that another sister would have to do for themselves to get themselves to a place of healing, I had to separate myself from people, or I had to separate myself for a season. I had to get real with myself. I had to really accept the emotions that I was feeling, accept the hurt that I was feeling. And then once I did that, I was able to release it. Because then you have to think about, okay, is this hurt really worth holding on to? Because the only thing it's doing is holding me back. And just like the other day, I went through some kind of like tragic emotional things, and I found myself trying to fall into a depression, but I had to separate unto myself and of course unto God, and I had to ask myself some real questions, but I really had to deal with my feelings. And another thing, Latoya, I learned too, although I separate, I have learned that I am a communicator, so I have to have someone that I could toss my ideas about my feelings and my hurts and what's going on with me. So once I kind of gather my thoughts and say, okay, Cinda, you need some healing, you are hurt, then I usually try to use discernment or be very sensitive about who I reach out to. Now I can have some real dialogue and say, this is where I'm at. You know, I'm hurting. It don't even have to be the person that hurt me, because sometimes we can't get back to that person, but just a real person that you can say, okay, I'm hurting, I'm dealing with this, my emotions all over the place. And I had to just do that with my best friend. I had to tell her, hey, my emotions all over the place. You know, I want to do this is a decision. I mean, I just gave her an earful, but it helped me because I reached out and I talked, and I eventually got past it. Thank you, Toya. I'm loving you. And we're not an island by ourselves. We are not. But I hope I helped someone with just saying that. So my steps, I'm just going to go back over it again. I usually get onto myself, become real with what I'm feeling, my emotions. Don't pretend like I'm on top of the world or I'm so spiritual that I'm not hurting because Jesus got my back. No, we bleed blood. Everybody bleeds red blood. And then I reach out to someone who I trust to have some real dialogue with, where I could, you know, talk it out. That way I'm not holding it in, I'm not harboring anything. And then I just simply make the decision to release it and let it go and forgive and move on. Now that doesn't mean, sometimes you have to discern whether you need to get back into certain relationships with people that hurt you, especially if they're not being respectful to your feelings, your emotions, and different things like that. But however, you can't get to a place of forgiveness that when you see them in the street or you hear their name, you're not cringing anymore, that you're being free. So if we don't have any more questions, I'm not going to hold you ladies any longer, but I just really wanted to make sure that I did this launch today and that we had some real dialogue. Latoya, I love you. I hope that you stick with us. Probably you could be one of those sisters that I interview, because it seemed like you're a sister that really wants to have some real dialogue concerning the sisterhood. And I just want to let you ladies know that I'm committed to this thing. I'm committed to doing whatever I have to do to help transform the sisterhood and remodel it. That we're just not walking around, even when we get this sisterhood, we're not walking around just creating cliques and creating groups, and this person can't be a part of the group. This Sisterhood Makeover, we're not about that. We're about every woman, reaching every woman, no matter your history, no matter your background. Hey Nina, I'm glad you tuned in. But no matter your history, no matter your background, hey Angela, no matter your education, we are here to support you. We are here to love you unconditionally. And we just want to be a community and a neighborhood for all sisters. And also, I don't care. You probably will hear me always interject God or something like that, but I just want to let you know that's a natural part of me. But I don't want anyone to feel any kind of way if they feel that they're not a Christian. Maybe they choose to be Muslim. Maybe they choose to not believe in anything right now. I just want to let you know that I'm willing to be a true sister to you no matter where you are at in your walk of life. But you will hear God come out of my mouth because that's who I serve. That's a natural part of me. But I don't want anyone to feel judged or feel any sort of type of way, because every woman is welcome to this platform. Every woman is welcome to share their heart, to be real, and to be authentic. So, ladies, I know some of the women just tuned in. You could go back and look at this video from the beginning. I just recap what I talked about today. I talked about a little bit of my burden. I talked about a little bit of the history of why I did speak the truth. And it really just was birthed out of hurts and different things that I was facing in my own personal life. And then I began to see it in other women. So it really drives me to create something. And so now here I'm at this point of doing this talk show. I always, even when I was in 11th grade, envisioned myself being like Oprah, doing my own talk show. So I'm letting you know, ladies, it's never too late to live your dream, because now I'm 40 years old and I'm doing it right now. So I don't have anything else. Sisters, if you don't have any more questions or comments concerning the sisterhood, some of the sisters that did miss it, you could go back to the comments. Latoya Griffin was really putting some great things out there concerning the sisterhood. I loved her dialogue that we had with one another. And before I do go and close out, I do want to go over the meaning that I gave for sisterhood. I told the sisters, I broke it down into two parts. I broke it down to sister means to be a woman who is intimately connected to me and other women. She shares my DNA, attributes, and characteristics. She is a person I can't easily disconnect myself from. And then I wrote down the word hood. And I went a little to the streets with it. I said it means to have a close-knit neighborhood or community. I'm willing to be your ride or die chick in anything. So that's what sisterhood means to me. And also we did go over the question. And so ladies, if you want to answer this question, and just email it to me at cbrownproductions2@gmail.com. You can. I gave the question. The second question I want to go over is, how can we make the sisterhood over? And I want you to think about that in terms of the word makeover, meaning a complete transformation and remodeling. Because I really feel that we need that in a sisterhood. We don't need to just gather in cliques and, because we're like, I'm going to chill with you and different things like that. We need to be open and available to all women at all walks of life. We need to embrace diversity. We need to communicate. We need to be real. We need to be authentic. So I hope you enjoyed this first lunch of Sisterhood Makeover. I am extremely excited. Meet me for the premiere on June the 19th at 7 p.m. and that is a Monday night. And from that Monday night forth, we will be putting out new topics for you. We're going to make it fun. Like I said before, we're going to do some makeover segments. We're going to do some fashion segments. So we're not only going to have real dialogue. We're going to have fun together, sisters. I love each and every one of you. I hope this helps you. And hey, I can't do this without you, sisters. So anytime you have anything you need to tell me, have dialogue about the sisterhood, any questions, any topics you think I need to be talking about, please send them to me. And we're going to build this sisterhood together. Love you guys and have a great night.